Register now.
Hello, my dear children. Namaste, and welcome to yet another very, very interesting and a very, very useful session for you all. And in this, we are going to be talking about the top 5 ways to do rapid revision for board exams. Okay? And this is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here at Vedantu. All right, so I know there are no hard and fast rules when it comes to studies and when it comes to revisions, but this is one topic which every student wants to know the answer for. So, as I said, there is no pinpoint answer for this, but then being the student centric platform that we are at Vedantu, we would like to give you a few tips and tricks and a few hacks, a few ways which have helped us, especially in this session. You will find a lot of ways which have helped me when I was a student to help me do my revisions a lot more effectively than ever. Okay. And if there is anything that you would like to add to this also, let me remind you, please feel free to add it in the comment section below so that everyone can also benefit from it. Okay. And also, children, let me remind you, stay subscribed to this channel. Click on the subscribe button right now if you haven't done it yet. And also, keep following me on my official Instagram page as well, Ambika_Vedantu. Okay. And yes, as always, let's start with a positive quote. The best view comes after the hardest climb. Think of it like a person going on a like a long mountaineering trip or something like that. The best view certainly comes after the hardest climb without giving up. And let us apply this in our daily lives as well. All right, so let us get started. Get started right is the very first thing. Okay, when it comes to your studies and when it comes to revisions, the first and foremost thing is to get started right. Many times, many children say, okay, ma'am, I don't know how to get started. What do I do? Ma'am, I don't know where to get started. There are so many chapters in my textbook. I don't know what to get started with. So don't think too much. Why are you guys just breaking your head unnecessarily? But then it's not a crime to think that way. Let me remind you, because I have also done this several times. Many times I would be like, okay, at least for this exam, I have to start studying at least a couple of months in advance. And then I'm like, just lost. I don't know what books to pick up. I don't know what chapters to pick up. I don't even know what subjects to pick up and so on. So it's all right. Just be very, very straightforward. Think straight. Think very, very straightforward. And remember, the order of studies doesn't really matter. As in, if at all you have a confusion, I would say go ahead and study in the order of the textbook. But then the wisest way of studying, especially for your board exams, is to study as per the weightage. What do I mean by that? When I say as per the weightage, the blueprint, which especially for CBSE students here, you guys will be able to relate to what I'm saying a lot better than the ICSE students, because for CBSE, at least unit wise weightage remains more or less the same every year, right? For individual chapters, it may vary here and there, but then unit wise weightage at least remains pretty much the same as prescribed by the board. Right. So ICSE also, I have a solution for you guys here. Although your board may not give a clear-cut blueprint, past year's papers are a very, very good indication to help you understand which chapters and which topics to focus on. Okay. So think about that. Go through the past year's papers if you have no idea, and mark off the name of the chapter next to each question. Just write it down using pencil or something next to each question. And then at the end of going through one entire question paper, write down in your notebook or a sheet of paper from this particular chapter how many questions came. You could probably use something like the tally, that if at all you have learned this in statistics in mathematics in school, like just list down the names of the chapters of a particular subject for which you are reading the question paper. Every time you come across a question from that chapter, put a standing line this way. Second question, anywhere else that you come across from that particular chapter, put another line and so on. And of course, you know that for the fifth one, you would have to cross it this way. Okay, so this would represent 5 questions from that. And note down the details, as in 1 marks, how many questions, maybe like 2 questions, 2 1-mark questions, maybe the 2-mark questions, maybe just one, and so on. Note down that also. So do this kind of analysis to get started with, because time is ticking. The clock is ticking. We don't have too much time remaining. Now is the time to get started. And after you do this exercise, what do? Just analyze what chapters have the most scope for fetching you maximum marks. Say, for example, life processes when it comes to biology. You might notice that that is a high weightage chapter, right? So just go ahead and read up everything in that chapter, understand it completely, thoroughly well, use your own creativity and learn the concepts in that particular chapter. And I've also mentioned past year's papers here, which go hand in hand along with this, because as I said, the exercise which I just told you, past papers in this exercise play a very, very important role. And also, there is another importance for the past year's papers. I think I say this in all my sessions, not just in going through the questions, but also practicing past year's papers gives you a lot of confidence, boosts your confidence literally. Like if it was here at the start, once you have attempted at least 5 or 6 past year's papers, your confidence levels just go a lot higher up. Trust me, try this out for yourself. All you need to do is be very, very honest with yourself, have complete faith in yourselves, and be very, very sincere in this. Okay? When I say sincere, I mean set up a proper atmosphere like in an exam hall. Make sure all your study material is put away, and you must attempt past year's papers with full concentration, just as you would in an exam hall. Okay, so all of that we can discuss later as well, but I'm just asking you right now to get started in the correct manner. Okay, it's now or never. Remember that always. Okay, now what should a typical study session look like? Read, repeat, teach. What do I mean? Well, of course, I always talk about the Pomodoro technique, in which according to the Pomodoro technique, whatever study session, whatever subject you pick up, what you do is break down your study hours into half an hour, 30 minute chunks. Okay, and in one 30-minute study session, study actually only for about 20 to 25 minutes depending upon your concentration. Okay, but when I say 20-25 minutes, that has to mean that your concentration is at its best in those 20-25 minutes. Not like the initial 5 minutes or 10 minutes are going to be warm up. No, nothing like that. Then it just destroys the purpose, right? So follow the Pomodoro technique, study one part at a time, take it slow and steady, 20-25 minutes at a stretch, use the remaining 5 minutes for quick revision. So read and repeat in this 30 minutes, which I have told you. Then probably take like a 5 minutes break or something, come back once again, not more than 5 minutes break, okay? In this technique, it doesn't make sense if you took more than a 5 minute break in between subsequent 30-minute sessions. At the end of 2.5 hours, you're allowed to take slightly longer breaks. That's not a problem. Okay, so read and repeat in the first 30 minutes, and then once you come back after the break, teach it. So who do you teach it to? Now this can be anything, anyone, depending upon your convenience. It could be your younger sibling, it could be an older sibling, it could be one of your parents, it could be your grandparents, it could be your cousins, your neighbors, anyone at all. If there's a very, very young child at home, well and good. I think nothing better than that. Even your pet dog or cat also would do. And if at all you're the kind of child who doesn't like to have anyone else's presence while you are completely engaged in a study session, no problem. I have a solution for that as well. Just stand in front of a mirror. Imagine that you are the teacher and your reflection is your student. Okay? That's also a way. You are teaching your imaginary students. Once you teach, it registers a lot better in your brain than any other technique would work. Trust me. So read, repeat, teach. Keep doing this. And remember to use smart study techniques. Okay, so when I say smart study techniques, this can vary from subject to subject, but when it comes to biology, especially, for example, a concept like cell cycle, creating mnemonics greatly helps, hugely helps. Okay, so for example, you can see here the different stages of the cell cycle are interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. And you can make a mnemonic using the first letters of each of these words, which is IPMAT. I prefer milk and tasty cupcakes. This is something that people commonly use, but you can modify it according to your needs. Normally, I say I prefer Malayalam and Tamil culture, like, or customs. If at all you want to include cytokinesis also, customs or culture or something. Whatever works for you, anything at all. It can be really, really weird as well. Honestly, the weirder it is, the better you would remember it. Okay, so mnemonics really, really, really work well, especially in subjects like biology and chemistry a little bit, and maybe in social studies also. I remember I had a friend in my school days, and she and I would always make mnemonics, especially in social studies, because we found it very difficult to remember a lot of things in history and a lot of other concepts related to modern history, what we had to study back then. But then mnemonics really, really saved us to a great extent. Okay, so use smart study techniques like mnemonics and keep practicing them as well. Mnemonics are just an example. Anything at all that works for you. As I said, whatever idea pops up in your brain, just put it in the comment section also right now, right away, so that others can also benefit from it. Okay, so now continuing whatever I have told you about the smart study technique. Okay, foolproof study with the help of a technique which is well known as Feynman's technique. Now, Richard Feynman, was a renowned physicist, and his technique to study is known to be very, very simple and very, very popular as well. Well, Richard Feynman was known to have had this exceptional ability to grasp complex concepts very, very quickly. And at the same time, he had a very, very rare ability to simplify the hardest of concepts as well. That means he must have been such a great teacher, right? So this is Feynman technique. I mean, as we call it, the Feynman technique, the four major steps, something very simple, as you can see. Choose a concept. Okay, whatever subject you may be studying, choose a concept. Step 2 is teach a toddler. Okay, that's why I said a young child. And third, identify gaps. And fourth would be review and simplify. As simple as that. Nothing beyond this. Try this out for any concept. Definitely, it's going to make a lot of sense to you. Now, you might tell me, ma'am, what do I do to find a toddler in my place? I mean, there's no toddler in my house. So, what do I do? Obviously, when I say teach a toddler, I don't literally mean it should only be a toddler. As I told you earlier, it can be anyone. But then, younger the child is, more effective your technique will be, because if a very young child can also understand what you're trying to teach, then that means you are teaching it right, you are learning it right as well. And also, another way to practice this, like practically follow this technique, is by just choosing a concept, step 1. Secondly, just take a sheet of paper, write down. Imagine that you are going to be writing down an explanation, not like a bookish explanation. I don't want you to mug up that concept and read and write word by word what is given in your NCERT book. No, not at all. Understand the concept that you have studied. Grab a sheet of paper, write it in your own words, explain it in your own words. The rule here is to keep the language as simple as possible. Simplify it, simplify it, simplify it as much as you can. And the reason I'm asking you to write it is because registration of that in your brain is going to be a lot more effective. But just in case you are running short of time, I have a quick hack for you here as well. These days, all of you have access to mobile phones and recording devices and all of that. Just record the audio, okay? Just as you would teach a young child, just record the audio or record a video if at all you want to make that, and review your own explanation. If you have written down the explanation, review that and identify gaps. Or if you have recorded an audio or video, identify gaps by listening or watching that. And then simplify it. That's it. As simple as that. Now, let your creativity fly. I know all of you guys would have your own methods when it comes to creative study techniques. Many of you might be the kind of children who really have a fascination for mind maps. Many study books, also study guides also these days have got a section exclusively for mind maps. I used to be very fond of mind maps. I used to like making mind maps and flow charts of my own also, especially when I came to my 11th and 12th. Like complex chapters started in 11th and 12th. So I would really enjoy studying with the help of mind maps and flow charts. So go ahead and create them. It has to be your own creation. And the advantage of creating your own mind map is that, first of all, you're not, it's your own creation, so you don't really have to go through it and study it again. Secondly, provided you have done it right, it's going to save you a lot of time on the eve of your exam, and serve as a very handy tool when it comes to your last minute preparations. Okay, so mind maps, flow charts, sticky notes, that's again another thing that I was very fond of when I was a student. Even now, highlighters and sticky notes, I'm really fond of it. The only thing is, these days, sticky notes, I have to just literally hide it from my daughter, because she would literally take out all the sheets from that and draw random flowers on each of those papers and paste them here and there in the house. So that's the only challenge I have these days. But then colorful sticky notes, those post-it notes that you get, go ahead, use them, paste them in your textbook, in your notebook, wherever you want to. It really gives you that good feel like you have done a lot. So I think that feel-good factor is also very important here. Highlight the important terms, if at all you want, using fluorescent colors like these, because that helps you remember things easier. So in addition to these, there can be anything further that has worked for you. Go ahead and practice that as well. Let your creativity just fly. And I think I have mentioned this as part of another step as well. Record your own audio of a hard theoretical topic. This definitely works wonders. Record and listen to it yourself. There are multiple advantages to this. I remember doing this even when I was in college. Back then, we did not have access to such good quality mobile phones either. We only had basic phones back then. But even then, we had those MP3 players, like those compact portable MP3 players. I remember recording my own audio in those and listening to it whenever I was like not in a mood to sit down and study. I would just listen to my own voice. That was also a time when I realized that I wanted to be a teacher. Like more and more I got an interest in teaching, because listening to my own voice boosted my confidence in that sense as well. Okay, so I'm just telling you that from my experience, but try it out. Definitely this is going to work for you. Right, children? So that's about it from my side. The 5 top revision strategies. And I think there was one golden tip also, the Feynman technique also, that will definitely help you out. So in addition to that, remember Vedantu Pro subscription. A lot of amazing things have been happening, 5,000 plus micro courses that you can choose from. So just remember to visit the link in the description box below and the pinned comment, children. Apply the coupon code AMBPRO so that you can avail the best benefits out there. All right. And of course, if you have enjoyed this, please do remember to click on the like button, children. I keep saying this because clicking on the like button is the best and easiest way of letting us know that you want more and more of these kinds of sessions. Okay. So generally, I think in my last 1 year here on the YouTube channel, what I have seen is that most of you generally love having a look at these non-academic study tip related or motivational videos that I've been making, even more than the actual conceptual videos. So, if that's the case, yes, I would always be happy to come up with more and more of these. So, click on the like button and do share it with your friends, regardless of whatever grade or board they may belong to, because this applies to every student, right? And stay subscribed to our channel, Vedantu 9th and 10th English, because just like this, we will keep coming up with more and more innovative and interesting sessions and series as well. And let me also remind you to follow me on my official Instagram page, Ambika_Vedantu, because it's not just academics that happen there. You will also find a lot of stress busters, as in quick moral stories, motivational videos, and all of that, like within 1 minute. That will certainly sort of divert you from your busy schedule and ensure that you come back refreshed for your next study session. Okay, so I would love to hear your feedback also on whatever we've discussed now. Please post it in the comment section below. Okay, guys? And until we meet again, stay home, stay happy, and stay safe. Bye bye.